Welcome to Farm Fit and Fun. This is Bev and John.
We are in Payson, Arizona. We're not on a farm. We're doing a repeat pet sit. Payson, Arizona is about...
I was going to talk about the pet sit.
Well, then why don't you?
So we're at a repeat pet sit. This is unusual for us because most of our pet sits have been canceled or postponed or whatever, just like everything else that's happening right now, given this unusual situation in the world. However, because we have done this before and because we know the people very well and because they're simply driving, so they're not getting on and off planes, this one came through for a very short weekend. It's like 4 days. As those that have followed us, you know that we usually do a month or so. But we've got Patron, who will not come and see us because he's just about had it.
He's annoyed with this video.
Thing. We're not giving him attention. So we'll show you a picture of him in the clip.
So there's really a focus of this particular video in day 2, and the question has been on our minds since we returned to Arizona in the late March, and that is, the pandemic started, everything got locked down, everything got shut down, we had to stop traveling. Yet the truth of the matter is that our life has not been impacted one little bit.
Not an iota.
We're having as much fun as we've ever had. Now, part of that is we're retired. We're allowed to have fun after 40 years of working. But we learned some things about ourselves and what we like to do, and the way we like to be, that has enabled us to really not be bothered by a quarantine and a lockdown.
And the isolation, because here's the truth. When we've been traveling all over the world for 4 years, Australia, Asia, Europe, England, to pet sit. So we take care of the pets of people we don't know somewhere in the world and usually stay a month or so.
It's a great gig,
and
really.
We know no one. We haven't even met the people face to face. So when we land at a pet sit, we are, in essence, in isolation, in a way. We found out during this interesting life that we've created, happily, that we needed to find out what truly makes me happy, what makes him happy, what makes us happy together. And there are different assortment of things to do and be. And so what's been interesting is, so when we came back to our hometown of Fountain Hills, Arizona, in the Sun Belt of Arizona, which is very warm right now, we had a plethora of things that we just love doing. Like I discovered audiobooks. And I probably read a book every 3 days or so. It's been so much fun, and I get it through Libby, so they're free, and they're from the library, and there's a huge assortment. You have taken
on... first of all, I took up photography when I retired, and I have really become quite involved with it. And I'm not spending a lot of money on equipment. It's not like it's costing us an arm and a leg like some hobbies do, but I'm just enjoying the heck out of it. I do a lot of shooting. I do a lot of editing. We put them up on our website for the most part. I don't print them. I don't sell them. Although we've been asked to a couple of times.
You actually do a lot of tutorials too.
I do.
You study.
I study a lot. I take a lot of courses in photography and in lighting and etc. So photography is something that I can get up and feel good about. You know what? I'm going to go out whether Bev comes with me or not. And she'd prefer not in some cases. Just go do what you're going to do. Leave me alone. I mean, being together 24/7 has its upsides and downs.
You're going to find something that you're interested in that doesn't involve me, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've discovered, I think that's one of the biggest discoveries we've made ever. And by the way, we may have discovered this in retirement, but I sure wish we had discovered it when we were a lot younger.
Oh, 20 years ago at least.
Easily. So I discovered geocaching. Geocaching is a fun game. It's worldwide. There are little treasures that are hidden all over this world. And it's an online free program, unless you want to upgrade for $27. And when we end up in Melbourne, Australia, I have little treasure hunts to go through, and we discover wonderful little gardens or little places that the regular tourist may not find. And I can thank Paul for that, because I started that in our hometown of Fountain Hills. However, I really didn't get into it until we went global.
Oftentimes unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that the first thing out of my mouth is that it was a dumb idea. I said that about pet sitting. Now, how wrong was I?
Geocaching.
I said it about geocaching, but it's such a wonderful way to get to know a place that you'd never been to before. When we were in Mexico,
When Mexico, what?
We took up studying Spanish before we went to Mexico. We've done it before. When we went to Italy, we took up studying Italian. I did. When we went to Morocco, Bev was studying French, and when we went to France.
Okay.
But when we went to Mexico, we both started. We do Duolingo. It doesn't cost us anything. It's a free app.
Just like the audiobooks.
Well, we do lessons in Spanish every single day. How many days in a row have you done?
196.
Amazing. Now, I haven't. I've skipped a few. I've missed a few. I've failed some lessons. But
and they're not long. I mean, it's like 15 or 20 minutes, and I do it first thing in the morning. I have found that when we schedule our time, we have more fun. You know, it's just...
For sure.
Rather than waking up in the morning and say, oh, honey, what do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. We end up, when we were living that kind of life, we ended up doing the same things over and over and over again.
I know it sounds foolish, but now I get up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when we study our Spanish over coffee, and then after that we go to the farm, the Hunkapi farm, and we've, by the time 9 o'clock hits, we've done all the farm work. We've shoveled poop, crazy. We've gotten great exercise from it. We've got our Spanish in. We've had a load of coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
And we feel good.
But the other fun thing about you taking on your health, and this is about fitness, is that you were sleeping too much, and I knew I wasn't sleeping enough. And so we got little things to measure what we're doing. This little watch measures our sleep, not only our steps. We do about 10,000 steps every day, and the farm certainly helps that with our fitness goals. But I've added a half an hour, so I now sleep closer to 7 hours a night rather than 6 hours. Maybe I've added more than half an hour. But having something to measure is really, I think, important. The biggest thing I think really impacted this, not even knowing that there's a pandemic going on, is that we like volunteering. When we were in Thailand, we volunteered at the elephant sanctuary. It was incredibly fulfilling.
Another thing I thought was a dumb idea.
It was hard. It was on my bucket list. Oh. And it was grueling. But it was so energizing and exciting, and we would do it again.
We paid to be volunteers and have accommodations that were not very comfortable.
It was sort of like camping. Got it.
Yeah.
But so we came back here, and there had been an organization called Hunkapi that I had known about for years, and every time I had an interaction with them, they're a horse therapy farm, I said, at some point, I want to get involved. Well, it took going down there. Finally, we got off our you-know-what, got in the car, and went down to the farm and introduced ourselves. And now we're pretty avid volunteers at Hunkapi, learning a lot about horsemanship and about poop. We keep mentioning poop. But and loving it so much that actually when we go home at night, sometimes we'll look at YouTube videos to learn more about horses.
So let me just interject a thought here, is that the whole purpose of this video was to talk about why the pandemic hasn't really impacted us and how we prepared ourselves, not knowing, but how we prepared ourselves for it and what we learned about ourselves. Well, by the traveling that we've done, first of all, we learned that studying languages is fun for us. We also discovered, because our pet sits involved, in a couple of cases, one in England and a couple in Australia, we had horses. Well, Bev and I have always loved horses. We do a lot of riding, like Western riding, trail riding, but we've never owned horses, and we took some lessons in riding and all that, but we just love being around horses.
Kind of the smell, that leather and dirt.
Poop.
Well, here we go again.
Hey, it's like, John Wayne. But anyways, we just like the environment, and it makes us happy. So when we came home, it wasn't a big decision for us to revisit going to see Hunkapi. We were there Less than a week home.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make is that you have to get out of your comfort zone, which is your house, and go down there. We didn't know what how COVID was affecting it. And so by going out and really doing some research, about audiobooks, because I used Audible for a while. I like Libby so much better. It's doing research about anything you might be interested in, like you do with your camera work and your photography. So it's just finding the right vehicle, not only the right area, but then the right vehicle to deliver that.
It does. And how we learned that is, when we landed in Bali, watching television wasn't an option.
There was no TV.
First of all, there was no TV in Bali. That's right, exactly. There were no TVs in any of the rooms. But even in any of the other places, because we had a language barrier. I have a tendency to be much more introverted than Bev. She's much more active, and she has really driven this process, and I've come up the rear, and I'm learning a great deal about me and the things that I like and the things we like to do together.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, Beverly.
So anyhow, I think the essence of this is spend some time finding out what really makes you happy, and without people making you happy, what you have control over in your life to make yourself happy by yourself. Also, if you're married or have a significant other, find out what makes you happy together, like our experience with horses. And I think you'll find that it will iron out life a lot. As I said, I wish we had done this a lot earlier.
Go try stuff. We're about to try kayaking. I hope I don't sink the boat, but we did it in Hawaii with some friends, and we had a lot of fun. So you have to try it. You're never going to know if you're going to like it. I didn't know if I was going to like photography. We didn't know if we were going to like studying languages. I didn't know if Bev is as animal oriented as she really is. She loves being around the horses. And the bigger the horse, the better for her.
Oh, you mean animal horses? Yeah, because I've been a pet person for...
But that's different. I didn't know that you were like consumed by
You see what we're learning about each other? Wow.
Anyways, I think you get the point. That's why we created our Farm Fit and Fun, because we had this whole month that we had a cancellation on a trip to Santa Fe, and we said, what are we going to do? And we're not going to wait to find out what we're going to do. Let's create something to do.
Yeah, and we did. So get proactive, enjoy life, find out what makes you happy, and we'll catch you tomorrow or the next day.